Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show. My name is Clay Clark. I'm the former SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, sent here to teach you how to start and grow a successful business. And today, I am feeling a little bit froggy as we're trying to help you kind of break through that foggy. We're trying to cut through that foggy, like our names are the entrepreneurial Mr. Miyagi. Are you feeling me, Z, there? You see what I just did right there?
Absolutely. That was a well done for a free. It's Friday. Everybody survived the week.
Yeah.
We've got the Super Bowl this weekend. I mean, it's exciting.
Anytime you can reference Mr. Miyagi, Froggy, and Foggy, all in a
Friday.
On a Friday, it's a beautiful thing.
It's a move.
I'll tell you what makes today even more beautiful than a typical Fabulous Friday. We have Mr. Merton Huff, and Tulsa cannot get enough of Mr. Merton Huff. He is the praise and worship leader and sensation over there at Metropolitan Baptist. Merton, what's up, man?
What's up, man? It's just brutal. It's beautiful.
Oh, nice. Now, let me ask you, Merton, what do you have? What kind of musical stylings do you have in store for us on today's Friday program? What do you have ready there, my friend?
Maybe a little soulful jazz, maybe a little gospel.
Will you give us just a little sample
little
size?
Taste, little whet our appetite.
Mama may have, Papa may have. God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You're feeling it over there like a petting zoo.
Yeah.
All right. Now what we're talking about today, we're headed into this Super Bowl Sunday. This is our final broadcast before the Patriots go out there and run up the score on the Falcons.
Remember now we have a gentleman's wager, and I think the gentleman's wager was it lunch? What was our gentleman's wager again? I'm trying to remember. What was it?
You have to go to Oklahoma Joe's personally.
Oh, that's right.
To buy me some burnt ends and baked beans.
Yes.
That's you have to personally.
Or you have to do it for me.
Yeah, you're the ultimate delegator, so this will be tough for you to do. And for me, it'll be really tough. But for you, it's almost impossible to actually not delegate that.
And I think exactly. And I think it's only fair that you would eat them on Facebook Live wearing an Atlanta jersey.
Okay, that sounds great. So I have to wear a Falcons jersey on the air,
eating your Oklahoma Joe's that I personally purchased for you. No.
That just got weird. So I would be wearing a Falcons jersey while you're eating it.
Yes, okay.
And I have to watch you eat them, and I don't get to have any.
Yes.
That's what has to happen.
Smell the aroma.
Now that's rude.
And see the pleasure on my face as I'm eating those baked beans. Oh.
You know why I'm confident in this bet, though, and making this bet with you?
Why is that?
It's kind of like betting against the Earth's gravitational pull. I mean, it's something that could change over time, but it probably won't. I mean, it's a scientific law that the Patriots are going to just dominate this weekend. I
got one word for you.
What is that?
Julio.
Julio? What?
Julio.
You talking about Julio Jones?
Julio. Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but my sources say that he's going to have a complete emotional breakdown. I wouldn't pray for a man to be injured. I would just pray for a psychological breakdown.
24 to 48 hours. I mean, nothing crazy.
Yeah, nothing crazy. I just want him to just sort of get all, worked up, get all emotional, and just sort of, declare an early retirement right before the game. He can come back later.
Yeah, he can make a massive comeback next year.
Okay, now today's show, as always, is not a sports show. We're not a sports talk show. We're a business show. And so we're talking today about do your job, learning management mastery from Bill Belichick.
Oh, he's the best.
And if you look at it objectively, and the reason why I like the Patriots, why I love the Patriots, is because of Bill Belichick. If you took him off the team, honestly, I'm not that passionate about it, but I just love the way the organization runs. And I also love how Bob Kraft, the owner, allows him to do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example here. Bill Belichick was the coach of the Cleveland Browns for a while, and very, very unsuccessfully. They did not win very very much. Merton, do you follow a lot of football, man?
Not a whole lot. I don't know about that.
It's okay. You can get you can kind of over time just get into it. And get
You won't have to give up your man card.
I kind of gave up when I was in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta 5 years, and the Falcons just didn't do what we thought they should have done back then. And so I'm surprised to see them make it. I'm kind of glad.
Are you getting back on the bandwagon?
Yeah, I might jump back on. I don't know.
Well, why not?
Well, here's the deal. So Belichick, he's over there coaching in Cleveland and just losing consistently. Well, what happened is the owner wouldn't let him do this first principle, Z. He wouldn't let him do this first principle. The idea was, hey, you're the head coach, but you just can't be, and here it is, you got to be candid with your team. You got to be candid. Now, Z, if you had to explain what the word candor means from your perspective and how that flies in the face of what a typical business owner may do, when you're being candid with your staff, what does that look like? And what does it look like to not be candid with your staff?
Well, I mean, to me, being candor with my staff is being open and honest and just being, frank with them. I mean, just telling them the way it is and the way you see it, and letting them know where they stand in the organization, letting them know how they're doing, because that's always confusing when you send out mixed signals. When you're sitting there going, Billy's not doing a great job, but every time you go by Billy, you're like fist bump and you're the best and rock on Billy and
rock on Billy,
get him and Billy for president and all that kind of stuff. You said to Billy because you just don't want to confront the elephant in the room.
Well, we couldn't get Bill Belichick on the show today, but we do have some audio of him, and I want to play this clip.
Did he call you and record some stuff?
Well, apparently he was trying to get a hold of you, and so you had thought you'd put him on hold. He's leaving a voicemail. It's a crazy thing. Okay. We were able to capture this audio here, and here it is, my friend. I'm going to play this for you. I'm going to have you break it down for me, okay?
Okay.
This is Bill Belichick talking to the press.
There's nothing more important to me personally than the health and well-being of our players, staff, and support people in the organization. So, that's the way it is with this organization and me personally.
So when he breaks it down, you don't get a lot of hyperbole, a lot of adjectives. He's just explaining that this is how it is. He cares about the health of the players. It's a pretty direct.
And the support staff, by the way.
And the support staff. Now, here's the second quote. This is the one where I love it, because this is Bill Belichick. He continues to be candid in the interview. Now, here we go. This is where it gets kind of fun.
Specific to Chandler, how much will what happened affect your usage, the way you use him in the game against the Chiefs? What happened on Sunday?
Well, we'll find out on Saturday. I could just Xerox you a copy of the game plan. You can send it over to Kansas City if you'd got it. I mean, it might be easier for all of us.
So he's just telling the reporter, like, buddy, I'm not going to give you my game plan. But that's typical Bill Belichick. I mean, he's just candid all the time.
He's candid all the time. He's to the point all the time, and he doesn't mix words. And he's everybody. I mean, if you're his teammate, you love it because he doesn't give away any secret sauce. He doesn't have any poker tales. At the poker table, it was all about the tales. You can kind of pick up what the guy had, what the guy's going to do, by the way he acted, by the way he said, by what he said. But with Bill Belichick, I mean, his cards are close to his chest. He's just monotone, and he doesn't give up anything. I mean, that's what makes him so upset, is because he doesn't even give him he doesn't even tease him a little bit with something.
Now, I want to ask Merton your take on this, Merton, being candid there, because the church, the Metropolitan Baptist, is known for a great many things. One is it's been around for 100 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
A long time.
The second thing, though, is the music there is always on point. That's like a cherry on the top. I mean, it's always,
thanks,
you guys deliver out there.
Thanks, bro.
Have you ever had somebody, The Voice, Z, where you have somebody who they audition on The Voice and they're impossibly bad, and you and I as viewers know they're bad, and everyone knows they're bad, but they don't know they're bad?
Well, because somebody wasn't candid with them.
And I want to ask you,
like a mom or an uncle.
Yeah, and how do you deal with that? I mean, because it's a church. Somebody tries out for the choir. Yeah. I mean, has this ever happened? And you're going, uh-oh. I mean, has this ever happened?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to tell them, I'm listening. I want to make sure I find something that fits your voice. It doesn't make sense to put you up in front of, hundreds of thousands of people. To
like if you were to sing in the parking lot, that would be a great usage of your...
Start there.
No, but seriously, I mean, do you ever had to have that uncomfortable conversation ever, or is everybody just... Do people know? I mean, I just want to know. I mean, have you ever... I've
had to say that doesn't fit your voice. I've had to literally say that song's not going to work for you.
That sounds so nice. I just feel like it's not... I don't feel like it happens that nice, though. I feel like there's emotions there, Z.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. You're listening to The Thrive Time Show.
Okay, Merton, come on now. That song doesn't fit your voice. I mean, really, have you ever had to tell someone, dude, you can't sing? Or
Like, your voice doesn't fit any song.
Yeah, well,
Not in the choir. I've had people. Well, not in the choir. It's most people there can do fairly good. It's people who come and want to join the choir and they can't sing. And I'm like, no, you're not a good. You need to go usher, or you need to maybe join.
You need to go. Your voice is
join
really
the greeters ministry or something.
Is really, yes. Your voice is really would be wasted up here when it should be used at the front door, saying good morning and how you doing at the front desk. Or your voice should be used to pass around the bucket. So,
well, here. Do you guys ever remember the show The Office? The movie The Office?
Yeah, of course, I loved it.
And there's a guy on the show who's I'm thinking of the movie Office Space. I'm thinking of Office Space.
Oh, Office Space, even better, yeah.
And there's a guy who basically is awful at his job, and they keep moving his desk farther and farther away from everyone else. But he is like, why am I in the basement?
Yeah, that's what it was. They keep taking stuff off his desk too, and so it's like my stapler. Trying to find my stapler. My stapler. Where's my stapler?
And no one's to tell him like you're fired. So he's like, "There's no check here this week."
Yeah, they stop paying. They move his desk.
But I'm just saying, I see this in business all the time where somebody, and so what'll happen is, everybody knows. They say, okay, Carl, listen here, Carl. You, my friend, we would love for you to sing, but we just don't want you to sing, this year's national anthem. And Carl says, no. I'm an Olympic gold medal athlete. I want to sing the anthem. And I said, no, Carl, it's okay. Our schedule's booked. We're very busy. Your schedule's busy. We have a lot going on. You have a lot going on. You're an Olympic athlete. I mean, you've got a lot going on. And Carl says, hey, listen, I will make myself available. I will travel to where I need to be because I will sing that national anthem. And then this happens. How's that going, Merton?
Oh, say, can you see?
Here we go.
And the rockets.
All right. So I just want to know, what do you do with that? I mean, if the thing is, if you're not candid, that happens, and I see it all the time in business. And I'll tell you why I see it in small business.
Why is that?
Because in small business, we don't have the budget to go out there and hire exactly who we want sometimes. And when you first start, you got to hire who's available.
Yeah.
So it's like your mom doing sales calls, and your mom, maybe your mom is a great lady, but maybe your mom chain smokes and just doesn't like people. And so,
how you doing? I'm calling you. Hey, how you doing today? It's good to see you. A widget.
And you're going, Mom, is that really the way to talk? Hey, listen, if you're not going to buy something, don't call back. And you're like, hey, Mom, that's not really, And she's like, am I doing things wrong?
Don't make me come to the phone.
Right. And you're going, no, Mom, you're cool. All right, great. Well, I'll keep doing this then. Fine. And you see it where it's just, I'm not kidding. You see it. I see it in family business all the time where you have one member of the family who's destructive and the other one who's trying to get things done. There's no candor. There's not a candid conversation occurring.
Well, but how do you overcome that? Let's say it's a relative that's working for very little. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Okay, maybe they're not. Maybe they're making all the chili. But how do you coach up a business owner, Clay, who's maybe intimidated by one of their employees for whatever reason, to be candid with them?
You have 3 moves that you can do, and when we come back, I'm going to get into the 3 moves because there's 3 specific ways to do it. One way.
Hold on 1 second. Before you do that, it's Friday and everybody's going to lunch. And if you haven't decided where to go to lunch on this beautiful Friday day, you need to go to Oklahoma Joe's. Right now. Just drive. Just go.
It's a thing where we care enough about you that we don't want you to screw up your entire Super Bowl weekend.
Correct.
By feeling remorseful and saying, I wish I would have gone to Oklahoma Joe's, but I did not. And people are watching the game, having a good time, and you're just sitting there looking remorseful.
And I'll tell you what, chips are a wonderful snack. Dip is good. Little fruit trays are good, but Oklahoma Joe's baked beans while you're watching the game is probably pretty spectacular.
Close to spiritual, but not quite spiritual.
Live, local, now. You're listening to the Thrive Time Show.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back into the Management Mastery Conversation. We are talking about, we are teaching about, we are preaching about, we are coaching about how to become a management master. And so we have distilled the management mastery moves of Bill Belichick, the head coach of the New England Patriots, America's team, the team that's guaranteed to win the Super Bowl. And if for some reason, if Tom Brady is abducted by an alien, we're okay. If Bill Belichick is abducted by an alien, we're in trouble. But short of that, it's almost a guaranteed victory. And so Z and I have this little wager going. And if I lose, I have to wear an Atlanta Falcons jersey on the air while he eats Oklahoma Joe's baked beans. And I can't have any. I have to just watch it.
Purchased by you with your little hands, your little DJ hands.
I have to go buy them myself.
You got to buy them yourself with your own hard-earned money.
Ah,
You can't send Vanessa.
can't do a trade out.
You can't send one of your minions.
Can't send a minion.
You can't send a minion.
No delegation. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Thrivers. We're getting into his management principles, and this first one we talked about was be candid with your team. Now, if you're going to be candid, Z, you had asked, well, how do you do it? What's the move?
Yeah, I mean, here you are. You own your business. You hired some folks, and you just don't have the nerve to confront them on things they're doing wrong, and you've kind of let it go now for this awkward amount of time, and now you're kind of going, oh.
And now there's almost a habit force that's begun where it's become almost normal if you're not careful. And so Merton mentioned something off the air, and I want him to dive into it. Then I want to get into the 3 moves for how to be candid. Merton had said it's almost like 2 people want to go a different direction. Talk about that, Merton. What were you saying there?
Man, I feel like we so often try to take people where they don't want to go. It's not practical for us to, if you and I have the same flight from here to Atlanta, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you're going to New York and I'm going to Florida, it's not practical for me to try to go through your gate.
Can I offend half of our audience real quick? Is it okay if I do that?
Just half?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a political show. It's not a political show. I want to give you an example of this. Okay,
you get the other half the next segment?
Yeah, I'll get the other half. I want to make sure both halves are equally offended, so it helps increase listenership. But
that's good.
Here's the thing: is my dad, unfortunately, this past year, my dad was dying of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. And so in my family, certain members of our family cannot stand Donald Trump, right? Certain members of the family love Donald Trump. Either way, he is now our president. But the thing is that there was this kind of like this, no one was being candid, right? So there's these pseudo side comments.
Yeah.
So here's an example. This actually happened. We're having a party for my dad, and a relative says to me, they go, hey, are you going to, can you move the car so we can have room for the guests who are visiting your dad to come see him? This is when he's still alive, And I go, yeah, absolutely, I'll move. And they go, okay, well, great. And then when we get back, is that your Hummer? Yeah, okay, great. When we get back, you and the other Trump fans can talk about whatever. And they just mentioned like Trump fans because I have a Hummer, and they just tie it in right there. And I'm realizing this person doesn't like Donald Trump. But it's sort of like that tension.
Sure.
Now, the thing is, because it's family, my goal is not to be super productive. My job isn't to say, hey, you're going one way, I'm going the other way. Let's just not discuss it. I just sort of avoid that.
Sure. That's what you do.
You got to do it in family. You got to kind of keep it, because you don't want to have us sitting there and have arguments at in the workplace, though. And if that were the same situation, and if you had an employee or a team member or somebody who obviously wants to go in a different direction and there's some friction, it worked totally opposite from everywhere else in the world, you'd want to bring it to a head right away.
Yeah.
So you would want to say, okay, so you do not like Donald Trump. And they would go, that's right. And I would go, okay, well, here's the deal. We work together, so let's just not speak about it and let's get stuff done. Moving on. Boom. And
done.
you just knock it out. But in families, you don't. So it's like almost a non-natural thing to do. It's almost the opposite of what the human race wants to do. And so when you have to do it, it can be awkward. And so I have 3 moves I'm going to teach all the Thrivers on how to be how to be candid. Z, you ready for move number 1?
Oh, absolutely! I can hardly wait.
Okay, move number.
I think a lot of new entrepreneurs struggle with this, because they want things to work out, and they're working hard, and they've hired someone, and they're paying them money, and they've invested time and energy and resources into this person, and then all of a sudden they're not doing something correct. So walk me through this, Clay. Move 1. I'm writing down.
Move number one. This is a paraphrased move from Jack Welch, but it's the kick.
Oh, Jack's the best.
And hug.
Oh, yeah, the old Indian move, kick and hug.
So here's what you do. Let's just say I was correcting Billy. Okay, so Z, could you pretend you're Billy?
Hey, Mr. Clark, how are you doing?
Hey, Billy, our show starts every day at 12.
Yeah, it's great. I caught some of it the other day, and it was really good.
Well, the thing is, we're going to start here in just a minute, and you're 5 minutes late, so the whole show's kind of waiting on you.
Oh, I'm sorry, but the traffic was horrible. There was a car wreck or a dog got hit or something out there. I hate, when dogs get killed like that. I'm a real animal person myself.
Here's the deal. The show's going on in 60 seconds. I don't hate you. You're a beautiful man, but what you did is not acceptable. We can't have you be late again, but you are a beautiful man. You're a great American. I love the way you smell. You smell like a winner. And then he kind of leaves going,
Or it's like, are you saying you're a cat person? I don't get what you're saying.
if I have just a little bit of humor, he might go, I get it. He chose not to be mean, but he just told me that's not acceptable. But he's had a little bit of fun with it. And I usually in my office, I will say these words. I will say, hey, you know what? But you're a great American. You're beautiful. You smell terrific. Something like that. And I just move on because, like, they know that I just told.
Creepy. You've been smelling me, Mr. Clark.
You know how crazy it is when you have to tell somebody, hey, did you park in the handicap? And they go, no, I didn't. Okay, well, I'm seeing your car. It's definitely there. That's you. Oh, someone must have moved it. So someone took your key. No, you're being dishonest. Okay. Now, who amongst us hasn't parked in the wrong spot occasionally?
I pulled my calf muscle, so I'm kind of like a little handicapped. I mean, it was a little closer to the building. No one parks there. I mean, come on. What are you getting all worked up about, Mr. Clark?
And I would have to be real. I'd have to say, listen, it's unacceptable to park there. And if it happens again, it'll be a problem. But here's the thing. I just want you to know you're a good person. I'm excited to have you on the team, but don't do it again. And I have to somehow have that candor, but I have to end it with a positive note. Otherwise, it just sort of is that lingering, like if someone, I'm just telling you, you want to try to go in and be direct and then keep it light at the end. Kick and hug. Kick and hug.
Kick and hug, and a little rabbit trail off of that. May I rabbit trail off of that? Just a
rabbit
bit?
off the kick and hug.
Just a little bit, little rabbit hunting. Is that anytime if you own a business out there, someone's going to call you with someone on your team's going to call you with bad news.
Oh,
they just do. They call you with bad news. The kick. They just kick and they just call you and they dump it on your lap because as a boss, you make big
obstacles
seem
small.
I love the way you finish my stuff like that. So what'll happen is every time they do that, and it happens sometimes, every time they do it, when they're done, I stop and I absorb it, we talk about it, and I say, okay, now before we get off the phone, you've got to tell me something great. You got to tell me something positive. You got to tell me something awesome. You got to tell me something that's going on good in the business that's exceptional. And then they pause and they think, they go, whoa, huh? I go, listen, you're going to kick me. You got to hug me.
It has to end on a positive mood.
It got to end on my little hug. I need just a little, even if it's a little like sideways, like, like we're at church sideways, the little church, the little church hug, little church hug.
You haven't had a church hug, by the way, unless you've had a church hug at the Metropolitan Baptist.
Oh, I mean, they give you a hug now.
They are huggers.
Huggers.
For guests.
Your first time there, they give you a hug and a mug.
We give you a mug, too.
We're
not muggers, but
That didn't come out the right way. Now,
my bad.
Now, the second part of being candid, okay, is you have to sometimes actually write people up.
Ooh.
And that's the part where you go, well, how do I do that? I mean, I've got my handbook. I've got my little write-up sheet. But what is the specific brass tacks? Like, what is the detail? How do you actually write somebody up? I mean, we've heard about it. We hear it all the time. Oh, you need to write somebody up. But how do you do it?
I wonder, because today we're talking about management styles. We're talking about ultimate managers, Bill Belichick. I wonder if he's ever had to write somebody up.
I've watched the documentary Do Your Job, and his write-up is more of a curse out.
Oh, more of a talk-up.
More of a talk-up. Stay tuned. Thrive Time Show.
You're listening to the Thrive Time Show.
All right, Tulsa, Oklahomies, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show. It's business school without the BS. And yes, my name is Clay Clark. I'm the former SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, sent here to help you learn to make your wallet grow, how to make your business expand. And to help me do it, I have inside the box that rocks the man with the plan, the co-host with the mo-ost, the guru who knows what you need to do. It is Dr. Robert Z to the Elner. Dr. Zellner, how are you, sir?
Hello, Thrivers out there in Thrive Land. It's Friday. You made it another week, and this weekend's kind of an exciting weekend. Whether you like football or not, you're probably going to go to a Super Bowl party. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, we all go, and whether you like football or not, you're going to watch because the commercials are awesome. I mean, let's just call it what it is.
And you're going for me. I know we have Merton Huff inside the box that rocks, the praise and worship leader here from the Metropolitan Baptist. I'm sure you wouldn't do this, Merton, but there are some of us who are just looking for some good guacamole.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, we might go to two or three parties.
You might choose a party based upon the homemade guacamole, but you know what? I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to teach you how to take your Super Bowl party to the next level.
Help us.
Whoa, you're going to do this?
I'm gonna give you the secret
Now,
sauce.
or you
literally
can just
right now,
Oh,
right now.
my
right
God.
now,
Oh,
I'm
my
gonna
gosh.
do it.
Let me write
right now.
this
I'm
down.
fired up. I'm fired up. It's Fired Up Friday. What you need to do is this: you need to call Oklahoma Joe's Barbecue.
Oklahoma Joe's Barbecue.
And you need to get some takeout for the big game. All right. And then when your friends come over and they can, you have all of the different meat products out there. Make sure you get a lot of burnt ends because it's like meat candy.
Oh, wow.
And then you have like your baked beans and all the other sides, and they're going to go, oh my gosh, this is the best Super Bowl party ever.
And we're talking about this management, mastery and how to be candid. And here's what's going to happen. Some of you out there are not going to call Oklahoma Joe's. And I'm not mad. I realize certain people are saying, hey, barbecue's not my thing. I mean, that's okay. And over time, perhaps you could be educated and coached up into what is good.
Yes.
But what happens is some of you are making some nasty food.
Yeah.
Merton, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I
Z,
know.
you know this. You are the person who brings the dish. Now, if we're in Minnesota, you call everything a hot dish up there. Everything in Minnesota is a hot dish.
Really?
Yeah. So what you do is you show up and you go, "Oh, Bjorn, how are you? Are you good? Good to see you."
Finn, I'm good, thank you.
Oh yeah, I brought the hot dish. Margaret made it, and it's nice. It's and then hi, good to see you, Rauschendorfer. And you're all bringing these. You're bringing this dish.
Well, so it could be something cold, and you still call it a hot dish?
Well, hot dish. I mean, it's almost what you do. A hot dish is basically some kind of soup mixed with tater tots, mixed with some kind of vegetables. No, I'm not. Have you ever had this? You ever seen this?
No, I haven't.
No, my gosh, they'll take like beans and they'll say, well, here are some beans, and let's go ahead and throw in some tater tots.
Okay.
And then let's throw in some soup, and it'll be a dish. It's a hot dish.
That's nasty.
It's a hot dish.
And everyone knows that they don't want your hot dish. You know that it's like a plague. It kills Super Bowls. But for whatever reason, you are committed to serving it. And no one's going to be candid with you. They just keep avoiding it. So
you get your bowl. The host, if they're nice, they pour some of it out. They're like, "Oh, they loved your hot dish."
You know what I'm saying?
Finn.
I've been to your house, Z, for Thanksgiving. I'll say one thing: you have some great people at the house, and there's great dessert, and everyone knows the great dessert because it's gone.
Oh yeah.
But the other stuff, people are like, I don't want it, and you have to just be nice. But you do. And when family, as a general rule, you're not going to be super candid. I'm not going to walk up to you, Merton. I'm not going to say, "Hey, Merton, are you bringing some nasty hot dish?"
No.
Merton, this hot dish you brought is unacceptable.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a write-up. Stop.
I'm gonna do a write-up.
I mean, we just, every year after year, we just sort of put up with it,
Yeah.
right? We tolerate it. But yet in business, if you were serving, if that was your food, was hot dish, and it was some nasty hot dish that no one likes, the customers wouldn't come back. They're not forgiving. You've got to eventually be candid and go, hey, here's the deal. The food that you're putting out there, Mr. Chef, is not good, and our customers aren't coming back. So stop messing up.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. You're listening to The Thrive Time Show.
I mean, at a certain point, you got to be real. So now we move on. The first move was kick and hug. The second move, though, is you got to have that write-up. Now, a write-up is tough to do.
Yeah, but it's tough to do because it's like it's the move, and you have to now. The kick and hug can be something kind of casual, and you're kind of. I know you're not being fun, but you're saying something.
Try to keep it light.
And then you're not doing it out in front of people. You don't want to embarrass them in front of people. You always want to take them off the floor. You want to get them someplace private to do your kick and hug.
Yeah.
But the write up, that's kind of an official thing now.
This is where it escalates, and this is how the write-up goes. So you can say, hey, Carl, can I see you in my office real quick? And everyone knows, when you say my office, it's almost like, oh, you're going to the office. It's like when your mom...
All right.
Merton, did your mom ever use your middle name while referencing you? Did she ever say, what is your Merton name? Or what is your middle name?
Your Merton name?
What is your middle name?
So I really don't have a middle name.
What?
Yeah.
Let's make one up.
So my dad goes by Melvin, so she calls me Melvin Jr. If she's upset, it's Melvin Jr. then.
So when you were getting in trouble, it'd be like Merton, Melvin, Jr. Did she ever do that move?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, she's really mad then.
And when that happens, you know what's going to happen before it even happens.
Yeah.
You just start beating yourself to savor the time.
Yes, the thunder's coming.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how the deal when you say, hey, even if you say it lightly, you can say, hey, Carl, I need to see my office real quick. And he knows that you know that we know what he's been doing.
Yeah. But the problem is, though, when you go to write somebody up, here's one of the things you've got to be ready for, all the kickback they give you. Okay, so you want to be Carl, or I'll be Carl or Billy, and you're going to write me up. So let's role play for the Thrive Nation audience.
I would like to be Billy.
Okay, you be Billy.
I'll be Billy.
Okay, so I'm going to. Hey, Billy, can you come into my office for a little bit?
Yeah. What's it about? I mean. What's this about?
Well, Billy, remember last week when I told you about coming in late?
Yeah, I have kind of a late problem.
I mean, you're a great guy. You smell good. You're a great American. You smell good. I don't think I can do the smell good.
No, when you say it, it always gets to laugh. It always gets to laugh.
It always gets to laugh. But you've continuously been late. I have your time card here to kind of verify that, and it's unexcusable. And now I'm going to have to write you up and put it in your personnel file.
What does that mean?
Well, that means that our policy, which you broke about being late, you continue to break that policy, and you're not going to be employed here any longer.
Every time I get a good job, this happens.
Yep.
Yeah. or the kickback that I always hated, or my managers always hated, is when they're like, "Well, I'm not the only one that's late. You know, Sam was late too."
Well, the human race only has 3 pushbacks. We've only come. Hi, I'm the human race. I have 3 pushbacks. The one is the comparison move.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie's late too.
Yeah, Charlie was late yesterday.
Now the second move is this. I didn't know.
Yeah, okay.
I love that one.
Ignorance.
My favorite move is there must have been a miscommunication. That's the best one.
Oh, there must have been a miscommunication. Between who?
You and your alarm clock. Yeah.
Have you ever text somebody and you text them and they responded to you, "Yep, I'll be there," and then they said there must be a miscommunication?
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
then they're like, "Wait a minute, oh no, I did text
I
back."
say it wasn't between us. It's somewhere else.
Well, that's the problem with text messaging. I didn't know what you meant by that. I thought, it was miscommunication because I thought you were teasing. You weren't teasing? I mean, I thought that you were, you didn't mean what you kind of said. So.
Now, the next part is real talk. Move number 3. This is real talk. Now, real talk is where we get to a different level of sincerity and clarity and detail. So I'm going to give you a Bill Belichick quote that is an example of real talk. He's been interviewed after a game. They're asking him, tell us about your team's performance. And he says this won't be good enough. It wasn't good enough today. It won't be good enough against anybody else either. And it's like, okay, that's how he feels about that, and where you now understand, we move on. It's just, sometimes you got to be super candid. You got to have that real talk, see?
Well, I tell you what, that's one of the challenges of a business person. And I want to encourage everybody out there, when you start your business, or say you're in management and you're listening to, the nice thing about this week's shows, doing all this management stuff, is that you don't have to own your own business to get a lot out of this show. Attack it early. The longer you wait, the worse it gets.
ThriveTimeShow.com.
You're listening to the Thrive Time Show.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back into the conversation. We're broadcasting today live from the beautiful Thrive15.com box that rocks. My name is Clay Clark. I'm the former SBA Entrepreneur of the Year in your ear, sent here to teach you how to start and grow a successful business. And as always, I'm joined here with Dr. Robert Zellner. He is the optometrist turned tycoon. Sir, how are you?
Tycoon, I like that. It's Friday. How can you not be having a great day? I ate my Oklahoma Joe's barbecue.
Yeah.
It's Friday before the Super Bowl. I can hardly wait to see the commercials. And I think the Falcons might pull it off.
Why would you say that? It's almost blasphemy to say those
Matt
words.
Ryan, Julio Jones, their team's loaded. You got to admit, they're a serious team.
Who is this team you're speaking of? Does Atlanta even have a team?
Well, last time I checked, they did.
Okay, there's a lot of bias coming from your microphone, so I'm gonna keep this show.
I'm trying to be fair and balanced for like Fox News, but we're not the news.
Fair, okay, there it is. Very fair and balanced.
We're not political radio.
The news.
We're not political radio. But
all right. Well, here's the deal, Thrivers. We're talking today about the management mastery. We're trying to teach you how to become a management master, and specifically, we've distilled Bill Belichick's management moves, his methodologies, and what he's done to allow the Patriots to be winners for the last basically 20 years. And we know we're not going to teach you how to deflate a football. We're not going to teach you how to film the other team. But we're going to get into some of the best practice moves that Bill Belichick has distilled. And so inside the box that rocks, we have a very special guest here. We have Pastor Ray with the Metropolitan Baptist Church. They're celebrating 100 years of existence this year. Pastor Ray, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. Good to be with you tonight.
Hey, well, thank you for being here, my friend. Now, I want to ask you this, because every Sunday you put on a laser show. Every Sunday. I want you to know,
wow.
you and Merton, it's like a combo, but somehow you guys keep me on the straight and narrow till about Thursday. Now, I don't know how you do it. Every week you have these great messages. What's your methodology? How do you go about writing a good sermon, my friend? What's the plan? How do you do it?
Well, you use the operative word plan. We do a lot of planning at the Met Church. So when you get there on a Sunday morning at either the 9 or 11 o'clock service, what you don't see is the hours that people like Merton and I have spent thinking about how we want to take people to the place where we're intended for them to be by the end of the 90-minute worship service. So there's a great deal of planning that goes on.
Now, I think there's a lot of Thrivers who are listening who, like a few of them actually, I've talked to several of them that are actually pastors of churches.
Yep.
There are some that are business owners, entrepreneurs, managers. And what happens is this principle number 14 that Bill Belichick does is hard for them. Bill Belichick, this principle here is don't allow bad habits to infect your team.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick has a notable quotable that I want to read to you guys, and this is what he says. He says, one thing that could be a problem is breaking old habits. It's not that you don't understand what the new responsibilities or plays are, but just the fact that you've been doing something a long time and you're kind of used to doing it, it's a habit.
Wow.
And that's not what's required in the other system, and it means kind of undoing something before you can even start doing something new. So if I'm listening right now and I got some bad habits in my office, I want to ask you there, Pastor Ray, and I want to ask you, Pastor Z. I want to ask you, Dr. Z, and Pastor Ray. So Pastor Ray, how would you fix those habits if I see my team going the wrong way?
So I love that. I love the idea of not allowing bad habits to infect what I call the culture of an organization. So in our organization, we have a defined culture, and it's built on certain rituals, certain habits, if you will.
Okay.
Being at work on time, a standard of excellence. And so these, habits become a part of what everybody expects. And so it's kind of hard to live in that culture when your habits don't align with the habits of the culture. So you obviously become kind of an outcast or somebody who is not fitting in with kind of how we do things.
I want to ask a real talk question. If I can be real, I want to ask you a real talk question. Here we go. So I am in my church. Let's say I'm a pastor of a church in Tulsa, and I have a meeting that starts at, let's say, 8 a.m. for rehearsals for maybe a 10 a.m. service or something. And I have talked about it. I have used maybe even Bible verses as examples. I've talked about Proverbs 10:4, God blesses the hand of the diligent, punishes the slacker. We've had the meetings. But now this person is late again. What are the words? Coach me. I'm taking notes. I'm a listener. What do I say to my people?
Yeah, so I have dealt with that. In fact, you ought to try to sing in Merton's choir and come in after the worship service has started. That's not allowed. So here's how we approach this. We approached it from, first of all, stating the expectation. Here at the Met Church, we expect everything to start on time.
Okay.
9 o'clock worship begins at 9 o'clock. So we, first of all, just state the expectation.
Okay, state the expectation.
And then we talk about how this person's actions is not in line with the expectation. So we start at 9. That means at 9 o'clock, there is a minister at the microphone who starts with the call to worship. Well, if I have a minister who walks in at 9, and so that minister is not at the mic, then one, the expectation is we start at 9. 2, we then want to talk to that leader or minister about how his actions or her actions do not fit with the expectation. And then there we go on to talk about what we expect to see in the future.
And
so the next time.
And if they won't change it, if they're just somebody who says, I just have a problem.
Yeah, at our place, you can't stay.
You can't stay.
We have to have people who fit within the culture, especially the leaders. I mean, you can only have so many opportunities to make that kind of mistake. It just won't be tolerated.
Well, I would think one thing that would be different in the church environment, and since you're Pastor Ray and you're pastor of a church, we can kind of talk about that a little bit. That's different than the business environment. You can get it in the business environment too, but you get a lot of volunteers. So people that you're not paying, and they may have a little bit different mindset. In business, we have what we call interns, and it's people that maybe want to learn about your business. So they do the intern move, or they come in and say, hey, I want to shadow you, I want to follow you, I want to see if I want to be fill in the blank, for in my case, optometrist. And so now you've got an intern, Pastor Ray, and so they've kind of, I don't know if they're thinking different. They're thinking, well, I'm not getting paid.
Can I role play this? Can I role play this here?
Oh, please do.
Okay, so I'm a new attendee to your church. I'm a volunteer. I'm from Boston. I love the Patriots. This is the situation. I'm supposed to be an usher, all right? I'm supposed to be an usher. So here we go, okay? So, Pastor, I'm sorry I'm 37 minutes late. Just like the whole profundity of the Super Bowl being today, my mind is just totally elsewhere. But you could understand the previous 4 times my car would not work, and now here we are. I'm so sorry.
Right. So, Clay, I am so sorry to hear about your car situation, but we are running a church here, and there are 900 people who will be in worship service at either 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock who are depending on us to connect them with the God that they come to experience. And your car situation can't be an excuse for their not having the opportunity.
Ooh, real
they
talk.
have.
That's candid talk right there.
Is this so?
Come on now.
Do you want a bumper sticker? I have an extra bumper sticker. No, but seriously. So it's a thing where like there. I mean, but that's how you're talking. That's how you would say it.
Yeah. That's how I would say it.
Okay, now Z, because I feel like people are listening and they go, it makes it sound so easy when you guys do it. What's the gap, Z? You've managed hundreds of people. Where's the gap where you see? Because it's so. I'm just telling you, by default, every organization drifts by default, and it's the job of the leader to know the way, to go the way, to hold people accountable. How do you do it, man?
Well, I tell you what, but by always, number one, holding yourself to a higher standard. Number one, holding yourself to a higher standard and letting your staff, letting your employees, letting your volunteers, letting your interns see you being held to a higher standard. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you're always learning, and I think that's why Clay, it's so exciting about our in-person workshops. You know, we have our next one coming up February the 24th and 25th.
Yeah.
And what you can do is you can come in, and it's biblical. Iron sharpens iron. So you have all this room full of business folks that are in your same shoes, right? Either managing or starting or trying to build a business or just trying to. They've got that little entrepreneur bug in them. They're just kind of trying to. They're learning, right? And so you get in there, and then all of a sudden you go, "Oh, wait a second! I shouldn't be putting up with that."
No,
Pastor, you know what? I'm going to head back to my business, and I'm going to fix that because that's not right.
You know, Pastor Ray had a great sermon about this. I was taking some notes. I take copious notes, so it's like I was almost like a scribe, just writing as fast as I can. But he's talking about the thermometer versus the thermostat one time in the service. And you're mentioning how the thermostat, you know, that can you kind of explain the concept between a thermometer and a thermostat? A little difference there.
Right. The thermometer will only tell you the temperature of the space that it's in. All it does is record what's around it. The thermostat actually has the power to control the temperature of the space, right?
And that's what people leave our workshops knowing. They go, hey, I can control the destiny of my organization, of my business. They go, if I'm bottom of Google, I can get to the top of Google. If my sales are terrible, I can improve them. And Thrivers, if you're listening right now and you're going, what was the date on that again? It's February 24th and 25th. We're going to be right here live. It's a 2-day, 15 hours of power in-person workshop. We're going to be here at the Thrive15.com world headquarters on the left coast of the Arkansas River, and we have a scholarship program available, Z.
Right. So let's say my car's been broke for 4 weeks, right? For earlier example.
Absolutely.
And I got I got mechanical bills and I got stuff I got to do.
It's hard to afford it when you're paying for Patriots premium packages.
So the nice thing about it, we have local business people that have contributed money for scholarships for anybody out there who wants to attend the workshop.
Now, here's the deal, Thrive Nation. When we come back, we're going to get deeper into Bill Belichick's management systems, and specifically, we're going to talk about maniacal preparation. Maniacal preparation? Yes, stay tuned.
That's a little funky.
Broadcasting from the center of the universe, featuring optometrist turned entrepreneur, Dr. Robert Zellner, and U.S. SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark. This is the Thrive Time Show.
All right, T-Town, Green Country, Oklahomies, people in Tennessee, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio. For those of you downloading the podcast in Australia, we have Singapore, we have Canada, we have Mexico. Rumor has it we have a ton of people in Boise, Idaho right now. I don't know what that is. It's something in the water, something in maybe it's the blue turf that's drawing them, it's attracting them. I'm not sure the blue turf connection, but for some reason, there's a lot of Boise people downloading the podcast. So Boise, hello to you. We're talking today about management mastery heading into this fabulous weekend here, Super Bowl Sunday. We're breaking down Bill Belichick's management mastery, and we're moving on to the next principle number 15 from Bill Belichick's masterful career as the head coach of your New England Patriots. So he says this: insist on maniacal preparation. Well, what does that mean? I'm going to give you a notable quotable, and then I'm going to have Z. I want to pick your brain, and I want to pick Pastor Ray's brain on this. So here we go. He says, I think practice preparation is always an indicator of game performance. Not necessarily 100%, because there are still a lot of variables, but it's still an indicator. Now, this is a man who practices with a certain level of intensity, and so I have a little audio clip, Z, I have queued up here. I want to play it for you. This is Bill Belichick in practice. This is what he's actually saying to his actual team in a practice. Here we go.
I can hardly wait.
I can't put you in a game if you don't know consistently what to do. All right? You can't do it. Penalties, 1st and 20s, 1st and 15s. We can't play that way. All right?
But that's the deal. He's talking to his players, and he's just explained to them, I called a play. You don't know what you're doing. I can't put you in a game if you're not prepared. So, Z, break that down. Why is preparation such a, I don't know, it's almost like an art that no one studies. It's like a thing that's so important. It's like the elephant in the room. Why is it that no one focuses on preparation?
Well, I tell you what, thank you, Clay, for all the preparation you put into this show. For those of you out there that listen to us every day from 12 to 2 on Talk Radio 1170, and then in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thank you for tuning in. But you realize the show's a 2-hour show, and you may think, they just show up and they just roll the mics and go with it. Wing it.
Basically, we just wing it. No big deal.
But for every hour that we do, so that's 2 times 2 right now, is what I'm saying, per day, Clay has about 3 hours of preparation that he does for the show.
Now, wait a minute. You just said 3 hours for every hour, and is that like 7? That's 6 hours, Z? 6 overall, basically. You round that up?
That would be math. Let's see, aught from aught, carry the 1. Yes, it would be. You always got to carry the 1. And yes, it's 6 hours. And so you may say to yourself, how can that be?
It feels longer than the show.
His notable quotables, all our stats, all our research, all the things that we've put into it to make this show. Well, it's the number 1 show right now.
The number one business
talk show in Green Country.
Holy cow!
That's right.
Well, and little side note. Where I think we're the only business talk show.
You always bring that up to take the room down. It's just not a nice thing to do.
Well, I want to be humble. We're just got to stay humble. But it is what it is. But the point is that you have to be maniacal. You have to be obsessive in your preparation. And anytime you're preparing and you step up, there's still the jitters of the performance. You still got to make you got to make the pitch. You got to make the sales call, and someone's answering it. You've practiced in front of the mirror. You've gone through your script. You've prepped and prepped and prepped and prepped. And still, when that phone rings and someone goes, hello?
And you're going, oh no.
It's kind of like when you call the girl back in senior high, back in junior high or whatever.
You're
like, Becky's going to answer the phone. I'm going to the phone. You hang up real fast.
You had it all wrong. What you did, if anybody is old enough to remember a cassette tape, what you do is you call your dream woman, and then what you do is you play the tape. You hit the button and you play that song. So you call and you say, hey girl, and she says, who's this? And you say, oh, this is Clay. I was calling you and I got this song on my mind, and you bam, and you hit that Luther and it just plays.
That's the move? I didn't know that. As a young man, I did not know that.
Pastor Owens, you ever played the tape?
I've never done that. So I think I missed out on something. That's probably why I didn't get as many dates as I wanted to back
there you go. And then that AT&T and Mother Bell, they got that caller ID, and then boom, we're all busted. You can't. Now it's done.
You got to get it queued up to the right part of the Luther song too. It's the whole thing. I'll play the tape in just a minute. You'll get it. You'll get it.
We'll play that for the young men listening out there to make the call.
Now, Pastor Ray, I'm going to ask you this. Before I do, there's a lot of people in Tulsa that don't understand the hidden gem that is the Metropolitan Baptist. You're about 10 miles north of downtown. Is that right?
Not even 10 miles. We're about 5 miles north of downtown.
Now, here's the deal. I hadn't heard about it because I'm on the far south end of it, and a few people had told me about it, so I'm like, okay, 2 confirmed people who have seen it, and I go, I'm going to get out there. So I go out there, and this is what Pastor Ray does. This is I'm going to describe a Pastor Ray sermon, and this is
here we go. Here we go.
He starts off, and what he does is he gives you the announcements, and I feel like he's kind of conserving energy because he knows that he's sitting on almost a thermonuclear detonator of awesomeness.
Little dynamite.
The profound truth nuggets that he gives you are just knowledge bombs left and right, but he's got to save those. So he works on it. He kind of marinates. He kind of works through it. He kind of crafts it. And next thing you know, you are excited. He is excited. They are excited. If it's a very interactive presentation, presentation, and you leave so excited. It's like my hair is on fire, but I like it. And the whole week, I find myself remembering the 3 or 4 key points, and I've never seen anything like that, Z.
Pastor Ray, so you're doing you do a sermon and you preach on Sundays. Well, let's say, and you preach what, for about 45 minutes to an hour? I mean, I've been to some of the services, so how long do you preach for?
Not that long, Dr. Z. Hasn't been that long. Yeah.
About 30 minutes?
30 to 45 minutes.
Okay, 30 to 45 minutes. It was beautiful, wonderful, and anytime you're not having to look at your watch when the guy's up there preaching, it's a good thing, seriously. Now, for that, how long do you prepare for? Because we're talking about maniacal preparation. We're talking about preparing for your moment.
Right.
That's your moment. What's your moment? So, on a typical week, how much preparation are you doing?
Here's the secret.
Or you just wing it?
Preparation. Never wing it. Wing it, never wing it. So, every Sunday morning sermon, it always feels like 30 minutes to me, but all the people in the congregation say it's at least 45 minutes. But 30, 45 minute sermon takes 15 to 20 hours of preparation. 15 minimum. If I haven't put 15 hours in, I'm not ready. 20 hours usually is about what it is.
Wow,
I'm gonna pile on there because we have this these 15-hour workshops that we have. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can find out more about them. They're on February 24th and 25th. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop. Literally, all of the systems that Z and I have used to build the world's largest wedding photography company, the Elephant in the Room men's grooming lounge chain, the optometry clinic, the auto auction, everything we do, all those moves are taught. Well, people get this workbook. I'll pass that to you, Pastor Ray. You can kind of flip through it. But that's a copy of the Boom Book. That's our playbook. And that thing has been cooked and marinated and edited and changed so many times to get it in that final form that we're proud to give it to people.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. You're listening to The Thrive Time Show.
But it takes forever to do that. And once I finish making it, you go to sleep, and then you go, what was I writing? And you go back and you fact check and you research. So I want to ask you, talk to me about the specific kind of moves. Do you sketch it out first and then go back and cite it all? Because you're so good about telling the scripture in context and the story. And how do you do it?
So I start with the scripture. I know here is the piece of our sacred text we want to study this week, and I read everything I can get my hands on, for several hours. I take lots of notes, and then I have a focus. I say, in one sentence, this is what I want to accomplish. If I can't say it in one sentence, then I'm trying to do too much. So once I have my focus for the sermon, then I spend several hours literally writing out the manuscript. I know the moves. I know where I want you to go with me. I know where I'm taking you. I know what the aha moment is when people are still trying to figure out, well, where is he going? Why is he telling this silly story about his grandmother?
Now I have a question here because you have this. It's hard if you're on Facebook Live. You need to see this. If you're not on Facebook Live, we're going to give you a second. Get on Facebook Live. You have kind of this move. You have a certain physicality that you do. Yeah. You have certain analogies that you bring. Certain illustrations, do you even think about that ahead of time?
Absolutely. I plan it out. I know when I want to actually use a bigger and bolder and fuller voice. Absolutely. I have to practice in the mirror, believe it or not. My daughters think it's the funniest thing in the world, but I do it.
So I'm just telling you, Thrivers, let's say that you're a person who doesn't believe in the Judeo-Christian faith, and you're going, here's the deal. I know two things. I know that Tom Brady is, perhaps going to be our next president of the United States at some point. I know that the Patriots are going to win. Those are two things I know. And I want to know a third thing. I want to know where can I find the best pastoral presentation, the best speaker in Tulsa. I will just tell you, if you get a chance to go out there and just take some notes as you and Merton and the team put it together, it's a masterful performance, and the motive you have is you're trying to help people and encourage people and give them hope and inspiration and guidance. But I will go to the service and I will take notes because I love how it all comes together. Now, I want to ask you, Merton, when does the music element come into his sermon? Because it seems sometimes like you guys are in sync, like you're reading each other's minds. How does that work?
Yeah, I think it just, so we're really in tune, and I believe we can change the atmosphere of music. I always tell my musicians we have the power to kind of change the atmosphere of the room. So we always pay attention to kind of when his voice kind of moves, when he kind of has some inflections in his voice where he kind of when his voice elevates.
There was a song. There was one of the sermons. One of the church services, and you played. I think "The Reason Why We Sing" by I think Kirk Franklin. I think you did that.
Yeah.
Was that scripted or was that improv? Or
that was improv. Yeah. So a lot of times I'm listening to what he's saying and I'm thinking of a song that goes with it. Sometimes I'm Googling songs, in that moment because I don't know what he's going to preach.
Could you improv some "Reason Why We Sing" right now? Could you do that for the people who have never heard the Metropolitan Baptist worship experience?
Someone asked the question, why do we sing when we lift our hands to Jesus? What do we really mean? Someone may be wondering when we sing our song. At times we may be crying and nothing's even wrong. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow. That's the reason why I sing.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good, brother.
Thank you so much.
Always.
Now, this next principle that Bill Belichick gets into, and I see it apply at your church, is he says, you want to build a versatile team. And if you look at the Patriots, they won a Super Bowl years ago, and their star receiver had to move to defensive back for the remainder of the playoffs. This year, their top tight end, Rob Gronkowski, gets hurt, and they switch him out. And they have a running back that's hurt, and they switch him out. They have a receiver that's hurt, and they switch him out. And I see you on Sundays. It seems like all the musicians, you can all play multiple instruments. Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's the great thing about it. Our keyboard player plays the drums and the bass, and I can play a little bass, so we get to switch out sometimes.
Well, Bill Belichick would applaud that. This is what Bill Belichick says about versatility. He says, a lot of times a player has a lot of versatility. That's really what their strength is and what their role is. And he talks about how he prizes that over almost anything else. Like he'd rather have a guy who could play offense and defense than a guy who's a specialist because he says, with the salary cap era, you can't afford to spend $18 million on a guy who can only catch a ball. You need a guy who could also switch to defense, who can set blocks. It's just an interesting philosophy. So when we get back, I want Z to kind of walk us into his auto auction. And the auction, you guys are selling, thousands of cars there a month, and you've got to have a certain level of versatility. I mean, if there's somebody who's sick, there's got to be people there who can answer the phone, people who can help detail cars, people that can do title work, people that can process. And you have a certain level of versatility, but there's also a certain specialty you want people to have, Z. And I'm not really sure how you've been able to do that at your auction, and then at the optometry clinic, and then at A to Z Medical. But you have sort of a system that it seems as though you're almost impervious to people leaving. It doesn't bother you. You can just kind of switch it out and no big deal. The machine just keeps rolling. It's sort of a superpower you have.
Well, I'll tell you what, after the break, I'm going to deep dive into that. I'm going to share with you the secret sauce, how you can make that happen, how you can get her done.
Can I buy the secret sauce at Oklahoma Joe's? Is that a thing where you can buy that?
You can buy a secret sauce at Oklahoma Joe's, and you can bring it to your Super Bowl party and put it on whatever you would like to put it on.
And you can bring that with you over to Regent Bank and eat that in the lobby, and just give a high five to Sean Copeland, the CEO and president of Regent Bank, one of our proud show sponsors. Stay tuned. ThriveTimeShow.com.
My name is O'Neal Bent, and I'm from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I first heard about the business workshops through my wife, Sharita Bent, and I learned a lot more from her, and also got follow-up calls from different members of the organization. Some of the things I've learned about starting my business through Thrive is making sure I'm spending my money on the things I need to spend it on. For instance, like my search engine optimization, my marketing. I'm constantly reviewing the content that I have on my website, and that's just a few of the things. The overall experience I've had from the Thrive Time workshop has been wonderful. I love how everything that we learn is practical. It's not based off of book knowledge. It's not based off of someone else's ideas. It's based off things that have actually worked and have been tried and true. When you walk in,
You're listening to the Thrive Time Show.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back into the conversation. Today we're talking about management mastery. Specifically, we're breaking down Bill Belichick's management moves that have allowed him to be the coach of the decade and maybe the coach of 2 decades as the Patriots continue to win and win and win, headed into the Super Bowl Sunday. And Z, I don't know if this is a realistic prediction. I don't know if I could really officially say this. I can say this, that I do know that if my team, the Patriots, beat your team, the Falcons, I do know that you have to personally drive. You cannot delegate it. You must drive to Oklahoma Joe's and procure me some burnt ends and baked beans, and then you must watch me eat those baked beans and those burnt ends. And that is a part of the bet. And then if my team loses, which is like if the Earth's gravitational pull stops, but if my team loses, then I have to do the same thing for you. But I have to go wear a Falcons jersey. Is that humane?
That is humane, and it's only fair because, you are the favored team, and you are supposed to win. But you know what? That's why they play the game, Mr. Clay Clark.
We're going to win 88-0. At halftime, the other team will just call it. They'll just go, I can't do it anymore. We're just a bunch of birds competing against men with muskets. It's not fair.
With triangular hats.
Triangular hats. Now, Z, we're talking about these management mastery moves, and you were kind of telling me off the air. You said, Clay, I've got some super moves here that I want to unveil. And so these moves have rumor has it these moves have the potential to pump people up. And so I have a little audio clip that I've queued up in honor of these 7 super moves.
Wow.
Once again, I am Hans. I am Franz, and we are here to pop you off.
Oh, yes, Z. Okay, now break it down, my friend.
That's a classic deal. Well, you had thrown it to me on how do you manage your team, and how do you get, how if someone's sick, what happens? You just shut down the business? At the auto auction, we're selling thousands of cars every month, and the key is having people cross-trained, obviously.
Cross-trained.
And having them motivated to get cross-trained. And that's what we do in the optometry clinic. We do it in the auto auction. So someone's sick, someone doesn't show up, someone's car breaks down, or they're on their way to work and a dog got hit, they got to stop and get out, and help it to the animal rescue thing. It's a thing, things can happen.
So
right?
you cross-train people.
Well, you've got to cross-train people, but in order to cross-train people, you have to have your people motivated.
Motivated?
You have them motivated, and there's 7 little kind of secret little moves here, and you can use all of these. You can use some of these. You can use actually none of these if you don't want to.
I've got a way to motivate everybody listening right now.
Oh,
you ready for this?
How's that?
One, every time I've played this song, either it goes to one of 2 ways. Either one, your day goes up to the top, or B, it goes down to the bottom. Here we go, Z. Did that not just take your day up like 10%?
There you go. Friday right there.
This guy's the worst dancer of all time.
Oh, yeah.
This guy needs to get over to the Met and have some rhythm therapy. This guy cannot break it down.
Yeah, he's not good.
Oh, this guy. But anyway, great song, Rick Astley.
One of my brothers loves to play that song, and one of my brothers hates it with a passion.
Yeah.
And when they were young boys, young men, they were doing a road trip to Washington, D.C. And the rule was whoever was driving got to play their music, right?
So he's just going,
So my brother Chuck, he played this on the cassette tape, just wore that cassette out playing that song. And my brother Philip, I think he dove out the car, half a dozen times into the ditch at truck stops. I think he
Things
finally,
got bad.
His eardrums burst. It's a bad deal.
It's a bad deal.
Okay, so now here's the deal. We want to get our people cross-trained. We want to be able to say, like Bill Belichick does, next up, hey, I'm a trained quarterback. Well, you're playing wide receiver today. Well, okay. Hey, you are a cornerback, and now you're going to play linebacker.
Okay.
Cross-training, understanding the roles, understanding the parts and the positions of the other players, and you may have to do it. So here's how you motivate people. Because you may be, well, why do I got to do that? I don't want to do that.
I don't want to motivate people.
Number 1 move is finances, money. In other words, you want to try to make sure that there's a financial, for anybody on your team. A little financial gumball for doing that. Okay, you give them a little bonus. Obviously, you pay for the training, but you want an incentive for them to be able to do that.
Now,
That's move one.
Now, for the nonprofit side here, Pastor Owens, how would you incentivize a volunteer? Maybe, because of certain rules and there's volunteers and budgets within the church. How would you motivate or incentivize somebody if you can't just pay them cash?
So if we can't pay them cash, we have some other ways to incentivize good action. If they are an employee, time off. That's always a big bonus. If they are or volunteer, we do things like give them gift cards to Oklahoma Joe's or to food establishment of their choice. We do a lot of that gift card.
And one thing you could do, you could say, I promise I will not play this song. And then they're like, okay, I'll do what I need to do.
I'm motivated not to hear that song anymore.
Okay.
The other thing, step 2 is you got to provide meaningful feedback with them on a regular basis, and especially if they're doing great, you got to give them the feedback. People want to know where they stand, and people like talking about themselves. They like it when you come up and say, "Hey, Billy, let's talk about your performance."
As the new social media marketer for the business, I don't understand why you're so frustrated I can't log on to Facebook. That's a passing fad, Z. I'm telling you what, you're so negative on me. I don't need to worry about InstaFace and Snapchat and all that. Who's it? At the end of the day, it all just comes down to people being people. I'm the social media mogul.
That's right. And you know what? The thing is, and I know this is going to get a little, this might go a little weird on you.
Okay.
This might go a little weird. There's a book out there called People's Love Languages. Love languages, and this is the month of.
That just got weird.
This is the month. This is the month of love. Valentine's Day is quickly approaching, and where a gift might really make someone feel loved. The next person might be that encouraging, edifying word. Yeah, Merton, you're doing awesome. You brought the heat today, buddy.
Why are you playing this song while you're edifying Merton?
I know that sounds weird, but you can get the book, you can kind of research it. But the different things stimulate, encourage, build up different people.
Yeah. Nothing weird here. Just 4 guys inside the box that rocks playing "Songbird" by Kenny G. Nothing weird. Just move along. Move on.
Nothing. Move on. But so anyway, so you might go, well, I give this guy, gift cards, and he just looks at me and goes, oh, thanks. I mean, sometimes things motivate, and knowing that and knowing your staff and having that intimacy with them in that regard can help you know how to motivate them.
And I'll give you an example. If I worked on your payroll, my love language is don't talk to me and just let me win.
I don't think that's one of them, Clay.
No, I'm being real though, because I worked for a guy years ago who had the same temperament as myself, named Ron, and Ron was my boss, and Ron was a sales guy, and his whole thing is he realized that I wanted to be left alone and just let me sell stuff.
Yeah.
And if you do that, the checks, the bonuses, that's good. And so every once in a while he would fist bump me, and that was when he was really wanting to connect with me, because that's about as deep as I would go back in that day. But he recognized, like, hey, I've got a guy who, if I just put blinders on this horse, he'll go.
Just get out of his way.
Yeah, and so as I've gotten older in my business career, over time your love language has changed. But he was a very good boss, noticing, hey, if I'm going to take big time out of his schedule to talk to him or take him out to lunch, that's not his deal. But if I just give him more bonuses and I just put blinders on that horse and just let him run, he's going to be happy. We had a great relationship and we never talked.
Well, and that's the thing about it. But it was purposeful. He learned that about you. I mean, and you just don't want to treat everybody that way, because there's a lot of employees that don't blossom in that environment. They're like, why is he mad at me? Why is he not talking to me?
Exactly. There's many people that they want that connection.
I got one fist bump last week.
You got 2. What was going on? Now, we come back, Thrivers. We're going to get back into Z's 7 super moves. And Pastor Ray Owens of the Metropolitan Baptist Church, he's going to help us break them down like fractions. So Z's going to be kind of queuing them up, and Pastor Ray is going to break them down, queuing it up, breaking it down. It's going to be incredible. Headed into the Super Bowl Sunday, baby.
Live, local, now. You're listening to the Thrive Time Show.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back into this inspiration conversation. We are here. We are here on these magical microphones to teach you what you need to know to start or grow a successful business. You see, many of you are out there, or you're in your car, you're at work, and you kind of have this part of you that wants to start a business. And according to Forbes, Z, we have 57% of people want to do what, my friend?
Start or grow a business. I actually want to start a business. And, I did the math on that, and 57% is more than half.
And so the thing is, you say, I want to start a business, and many of you are looking for loans, you're looking for sales training, marketing, how do I build a website, how do I do videography, how do I do accounting? And so today, just like every day, we just break down a specific area of business mastery. And today we're going through management mastery, specifically through the lens of Bill Belichick, through the prism of Bill Belichick. He's arguably one of the most successful coaches in the history of the NFL. but he has certain management moves that he's used for two decades to help him become very successful. And Dr. Z, we have some sub moves, 7 super moves that you have distilled within the context of the great Patriot dynasty. So go for it, my friend.
One is money incentive. 2 is feedback and timely feedback. You know, you're like, we will do talk about your job in 2020, April of 2020. We'll give you some feedback.
Carl, last month I was upset on a Tuesday around 8 a.m.
No, people like it. Timely feedback, okay? The other thing, number 3 move, is respect. You say, well, that seems self-evident, but it is. And, you know, its little evil twin is lack of respect. And I tell you what, if you give all your employees respect, I don't care whether they're the janitor, whether they're mopping the floor, whether they're leading the charge, whether they're driving the bus, whether they're delivering the stuff. I mean, the salespeople, the sales team, marketing team, all of them deserve your respect.
Now I want to ask Pastor Ray, I'm going to role play this situation, okay? I'm working in your office there if you haven't been to the Metropolitan Baptist, you're 5.5 miles north of downtown, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I'm working in your office. I'm filling in for, let's say, Doug. Doug's a good guy, and Doug's a very respectful guy. I'm filling in for Doug. I'm a volunteer, and you walked by my office. This is on a Sunday, and I've got my music just cranked up, so people are walking into church, you know, and I'm supposed to be serving people, greeting people. This would never happen at your church, but at other churches this happens. And I'm just jamming out. I got like glow sticks and black lights going, and I'm not greeting people. I'm just cranking up my music. How do you respectfully tell me to turn it down? How would you do it?
Hey, Clay, let's talk for a minute. Hey, but in order for us to talk, I need you to bring your music down.
I'm sorry I can't hear it. Music is just
Clay, bring that music down. Let's talk here.
Okay.
And then here's the deal. Clay, I really respect the fact that you have sacrificed your time to greet people as they come into the door. We need you. I need your smile. I need your energy. I need you paying attention to the people who actually may be coming here and have not had a very good morning. They need to connect with you. We can't connect, Clay, if I don't have your attention.
Now, here's the deal. If you do come to the Met, I'm going to tell you what, you have some of the friendliest greeters and ushers on the planet.
Yeah.
But let's pretend, not at your church, but a far distant church in a distant land. Now I do the sub move, and Z, I know this makes you crazy too.
Okay.
I take it, I go ahead and put on my Spotify on my smartphone, and I weave those headphones up through my hoodie sweatshirt, and now what I'm doing is I'm pretending like I'm not on my phone, but I'm kind of looking down, and you see me kind of texting and kind of jamming out. I'm supposed to be greeting people.
Clay. We just had this conversation. Talk to me. What is it that you need to happen in order for you to take this job seriously?
Well, basically, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I got the Daz Band. I'm trying to make the perfect day. Daz Band, Super Bowl. It's so profound what is happening right now in my earbuds.
Clay, why are you here today?
I was here to volunteer. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Clay, what's your job?
My job is to serve and greet people, encourage them, meet them.
Clay, what's your assessment of your performance on that job today? What do you think?
I'm ready to move on. I feel like this is in the past. It's behind me. I'm ready to go. Here's my phone. You can listen to the Daz Band after church if you want.
Thanks, Clay. I need you.
It's a great album. I stopped at 2 minutes in. No, that's a real thing that happens.
It's a real thing. And the thing about it is when an employee feels respected, they're more likely to go that extra mile. They're more than likely to do that thing about the cross-training, about hey, I'm going to take you more seriously. When you're not around, they're more likely to be doing the things that you want them to do. Okay,
right.
When they feel respected. Okay,
we're moving on to your next power move. Bring the power.
One thing a lot of organizations do is they put most of their training dollars, most of their training energy into leadership instead of training all the people on the team. And so I would encourage you out there with your, you got a business and you don't want to just train your leaders and give them extra training. You want to train everybody and have a good training program, because train, and more train like a choo-choo train, like in Chattanooga.
Z, the music that reminds me of training on this NFL Super Bowl Sunday?
Oh no, here we go.
I feel like that. I don't know if it's going to queue up for me here, Z. I wanted to get my Raiders theme song. Do you remember the Raiders theme song with John Madden back in the day? Let's see if I can get that going. You remember that?
Yeah.
And John Madden used to just train the heck out of that team. Just running up and down the sidelines.
Boom, boom.
Training.
Boom. He was a big boom guy.
I think once he retired, I think that's when Al Davis says, you know what? Moving forward, we're not going to do any training. I think that's what happened.
Well, apparently, because they took a long winter's nap.
Yeah, they've not been doing so well. So, Z, what's your next move?
Well, I tell you what, you want to provide support for employees when it's generally needed. In other words, if someone says, I need a new computer, I mean, if they really need the new computer, if they really need some new equipment, you want to make sure they're well equipped and that you support them, because it's kind of like, you're paying them and requiring them and wanting them to do a specific task for you, and you've got to give them the tools to do that.
I want to ask this. This is on the nonprofit side. This is where I think it gets. And just half of our audience is involved in a nonprofit or organization. The other half has a business and they're growing the business. Let's say that I'm somebody who attends the church, and I keep asking for a hand out, Pastor Ray, and you don't see me putting forth any effort. So I'm wanting God to do the supernatural, but I'm not doing anything in the natural. I'm not volunteering. I'm not putting my resume out. I'm doing nothing, but I just keep. Where's that balance, man? How do you help somebody, give them the resources they need, and then when do you say, okay, enough's enough?
Right. In the nonprofit sector in particular, it's very important to position our volunteers for success. Giving people handout over and over and over does not position them for success. In fact, it sets them up to fail. So what we do at the Met Church is we actually put people in the position where they can succeed by giving them the resources they need. We had a situation with our children's church ministry. The volunteers wanted a better system for registering kids. Well, we invested in a system that cost us a good deal of money, but we actually asked them to avail themselves to the training and make this work for the kids, and they did a great job.
Did your new system involve giving each kid a unique haircut?
No haircuts, but our minister of music, Reverend Huff, when he's not on the keys, he can cut hair.
Are you, Merton? Yeah. Can you bring that barbershop skill?
Yeah. I got you. If you need it.
Got that.
We've done it before. We've even given away free haircuts.
Really?
Talk about versatility.
He's versatile. He's a very versatile, member of the team here. So he's doing the haircuts, leading the praise and worship. Now, Z, what's your next move, my friend? What's the next move?
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I tell you what. I'm going to deep dive in these last two moves when we get back from the break.
Like Jacques Cousteau?
Like Jacques Cousteau in a submarine way down deep when you're actually finding creatures that have never been found before. That's how it's going to feel.
That's almost too deep.
That's how it's going to be. Well, I mean, apparently you hope that submarine has been built well when you're down in that region of the ocean.
You're going to go so deep during this next segment that it'll be deeper than the hole that the Atlanta Falcons will find themselves in.
No.
3 minutes into the game, after they've bumbled and the self-doubt starts to set in, and the infighting and the arguments and the trade demands. It's just going to get crazy. It's an implosion. Stay tuned. Super Bowl Sunday, Thrive Time Show.
You're listening to the Thrive Time Show.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back into the conversation. We are joined here inside the box that rocks today with Dr. Robert Zellner, Mr. Merton Huff. We can't get enough of Mr. Merton Huff, the praise and worship leader there from the Metropolitan Baptist Church. And Tulsa's Ray of Hope. It's Pastor Ray in the house. He is the head honcho at the Metropolitan Baptist Church, where he leads a congregation. How many people go there now?
We have 2,300 members.
2,300 members. And I'm telling you what, if you are looking for a church home, and I know you are, if you're looking for a church home, or you're looking for a place of encouragement, or a place to maybe kind of find some traction, to find some coaching, to find some mentorship, I highly endorse you check out the Metropolitan Baptist. And then if you're looking for a good example of what you should do during the week, don't look at me, look at him on Facebook Live. He's a great guy. It's Pastor Owens. And Dr. Z, let's kind of break down your next super moves, my friend.
Okay, well, just to kind of recap, we've been today's show has been all about the book you wrote, Clay.
Absolutely. It's called Do Your Job, a look under the hoodie of Bill Belichick, the Patriots, NFL, one of the most winning coaches in the history of the NFL. We're breaking down his moves.
And it's not a coincidence that we chose this week to break down your book, because this is the week leading up to kind of an event you might have heard about. It's kind of a big deal. It's called the Super Bowl.
Reminds me of the Super Bowl. Is that what this Sunday is?
Yes.
Oh, guacamole.
And for those of you who don't like football, it's the party and the commercial. So there, we've all got a reason to be happy for the Sunday event. All right.
Yes.
So we've been breaking down are the 16 business management moves that Bill Belichick uses to manage the New England Patriots, because he does such a great job. I mean, that team is well run, and all of his principles in there are just awesome. So if you've missed any of them, and you can break them down a little bit, Clay, for everybody, and then you can go back to thrivetimeshow.com and listen to our shows this week and catch all of them, okay? So we've got kind of a subset on how to motivate employees so that they will go the extra mile. They will, happily get cross-trained. They
bring the guacamole to the Super Bowl party.
The person next to them sick that day, so they got to do like 2 jobs that day, or at least 1.5, and they're not, you want them with a smile on their face doing it. You want them encouraged and happy and motivated. And so number 6 move on this is I know this sounds kind of weird, but don't be emotionally stingy.
Don't be emotionally stingy?
Wow. Yeah, you gain nothing from withholding your alcohol. I kind of a blanket term, but your encouragement, your love, your affection in appropriate ways to the people that work for you, okay?
I'm sorry, I was writing that down. Uh-oh.
When recognition or praise is warranted, you should give it. I mean, hey, you know what? You may not have gotten it when you were a kid. You may not have gotten it when you were an employee, and you know what? Don't let that be your example. When you see an employee that does something that is praiseworthy or does something that's notable, step up and tell them. Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy with your love. Now, it's the month of love. Don't be stingy.
See, I call this the verbal bouquet. And I watch Pastor Owens do this a lot of times, where he'll edify members of the church who are visiting. Yeah. Talk to us about how intentional are you, Pastor Owens, about specifically recognizing the contributions of the members of the church?
That's big. Public praise is a big aspect of of our organization's culture. So we don't get to pay people the huge salaries that they might get in the for-profit sector, but one of the things you can get in the nonprofit sector is great affirmation. Not only is that good for the person who is on the receiving end of the praise, it's good for the people around who get to see what gets valued in this organization.
Oh, come on now.
They do. They try to mirror those actions so they can earn that praise for themselves.
Absolutely. I tell you what, you can Google this, Thrivers. You can Google this and see that there's a lot of studies out there that emotional encouragement can actually be more powerful than monetary encouragement. Wow. In other words, you got a choice: give someone $100 bonus, or to sit there and give them the emotional encouragement. And there's a lot of people out there that the emotional encouragement is going to encourage them more than the $100. Here,
if you want to lose a weekend going down that rabbit trail, if you're like, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl, I want to learn about emotional intelligence. Well, Daniel Goleman, the best-selling author, he wrote a book called Emotional Intelligence, and explains that basically if you do not learn how to emotionally connect with people, no matter how smart you are, no matter how many skills you have, no matter how great your business plan is, that becomes your ceiling. Just your ability to emotionally connect with people. Daniel Goleman, his book Emotional Intelligence, best-selling author and psychologist. Check it out. Orange cover. It'll blow your mind. Z, back to you.
And the last thing is, you want to make sure that your senior leaders, your managers, your bosses are exhibiting the kind of behavior that you want in your culture. You want people to be able to walk the walk and not talk the walk. In other words, all your employees underneath them will see the way that they act. And you don't want them doing things that are not what you want in your culture, okay? And so you want to make sure that they model behavior that's appropriate and what you want in your organization.
Now, Pastor Ray, I want to ask you and Merton this, because it has got to be so hard, because I watch you do such great messages on Sunday, but it's got to be so hard to, you study the Bible. I know that you believe in it. I know that you put God first, but it's got to be so hard to worry about, are you setting the right example? Are you doing the right thing on a daily basis?
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe, you're listening to The Thrive Time Show.
How do you do that, my friend?
Right. It is hard, and we work at it, and we hold one another accountable. Merton can tell you that weekly we have staff meetings. We talk about what's important, our public perception that we are creating. The truth of the matter is sometimes we slip up, but then we also have to fix those problems. and try harder.
Like if you showed up, if I showed up for church as an example, if I showed up there and let's say there's you're communicating with your staff, and if people saw the pastor or the team or the leadership or somebody doing something that wasn't, becoming of a pastor, all of a sudden, like their whole everything else at that point just kind of tastes bad.
Right.
And so you guys guard your hearts there. I know you work hard at it. Merton, what do you do to set a good example on a daily basis there? I mean, how do you do that? Because you obviously are at the church, when you're there, but when you're home and you're out with people, how do you try to set a good example?
Well, I mean, definitely on social media, that's one big deal for me too.
Oh.
I think, what we put on social media, I think, even from not just a spiritual, but even professional and personal perspective, like the stuff you put out there, you got to be careful what you put out there, because people take that and they're looking at trying to find something. They're looking at what you got going on to see, hey, are you living this life that you preach about? Are you living this life that you tell us to do? So working just as hard. They see me working behind the scenes. I'm working in the performing arts room. I'm cleaning out under the stage. I'm not just playing the keyboard. There's other things that I'm doing to get us ready for the week, and so they see those things, and that helps.
Now, Thrivers, if you're listening right now and you're going, okay, I want to be a successful entrepreneur. I want to be a successful business person. And maybe you've Googled my life and you said, okay, so you started this business out of your dorm room, and then you grew that, and then you started this company and that company. If you've ever been to the Thrive15.com world headquarters and met the team and you're going, how did they go from here to there? With Z, it's a little bit more viable that he did it because his brain functions properly and he's a doctor and all that. But what about me? I didn't graduate from college, and you might go, he's a man bear pig. How did he trick his wife into marrying? And Z's, we've done the test. She can't see me from a medical perspective.
Confirmed, yes.
From an optometrist perspective, she can't see me. But the thing is, you can turn your dreams into reality. In fact, Thomas Edison says that vision without execution is hallucination. So you got to stop hallucinating. Your life is not a mirage, and you've got to start that business even if it's out of your garage. So Z, if somebody's motivated to start a business, but they need that practical education, we have 4 ways to help them, my friend. Let's go through way number 1.
Well, 2.5 years ago, you approached me. You said, listen, Z, I've been business coaching, and I've been successful at it. And you were. I will honestly say, for all of you listening out there, Clay Clark gets my vote for the #1 business coach in the world. In the world.
Wow.
I haven't actually interviewed all of them in Russia, but in the world, I'm going within the world.
Putin's got some good coaches.
He's
kind of
got
over
some
the
pretty
top.
good coaches. I don't know. Maybe Ukraine. Maybe who knows? Okay, but you approached me and said, listen, let's scale this. Let's be able to business coach millions of people instead of me just being able to do tens or hundreds of people because my time's limited. I'm like, well, how do you propose to do that? You said, well, let's find very successful business people. Let's videotape them. Let's put them in on the tape. Let's get the real stories. Let's get the real information. Let's get the secret sauce that they had that made them successful. And then what we can do is we can put in like 15-minute videos, hence the name Thrive15.com, and we can sell it in a subscription model. It's only $19 a month, and you can binge watch as much business coaching as you want. It's business school without the BS. That's step 1. And then you wanted more, and so we went to step 2.
Which is the Thrive Time Show. It's the Thrive Time Show. It's the daily radio show from 12 to 2. We have the podcasts up there. There's hundreds of them and new ones every single day. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Moving number 3, we have in-person workshops. They're 2-day workshops. People from all over the planet come here and check it out. We don't believe in handouts, but we do believe in hand-ups. And so if you cannot afford it, we have a scholarship available for you. We've never turned down anybody. True story. Last week, we had a lady who came here. She says, I'm going through some stuff. I had a medical situation. All I could afford is $25. You know what we did? Well, that's what we did. We let her into the conference 2 days for $25, no student debt. That's what we're all about. Check it out, thrivetimeshow.com. And if you're somebody who says, you know what, I want that one-on-one business mentorship experience, we have one-on-one in-person business coaching. And Z, there's a 5th move you could do to help yourself.
That is,
you could get out to the Metropolitan Baptist Church, baby.
Yes,
you get out there and check it out. Tulsa's
absolutely.
#1 praise and worship service. It's unbelievable.
It's a lot of fun. I actually went, and it's a lot of fun. Pastor Ray brings the heat. It's a good message. Merton over there with the keys. Bring it home. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Yeah.
All right, JT, so hypothetically, in your mind, what is the purpose of having a business?
To get you to your goals. So it's a vehicle to get you to your destination.
Whoa. And would you need profits to get there? I mean, is when you have a business that's successful, in your mind, in your expert opinion, would you need profits to get you to your goals.
Yeah, because if you have a $15 million business, but you have $15 million of expenses, it's kind of pointless.
Holy crap! All right, so the question I would have here for you, if you could take 10 minutes or less and see if you could save $3,000 a year by reducing your credit card fees, would you do it?
Yes, absolutely.
Holy crap. Why would somebody out there who's listening right now who has a sane mind, why would they not go to thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card, thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card to schedule a 10-minute consultation to see if they can reduce their credit card fees by at least $3,000 a year.
Why would they not do it?
Yeah, why would they not do it?
Maybe because they didn't understand how you said the website.
This tree is a symbol of the spirit of the Griswold family Christmas.
No, that's clear. Okay, so that could be true. So I would encourage everybody to check out thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card, thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card. What would be another reason why someone would not be willing to take 10 minutes to compare rates to see if they could save $3,000 or more on credit card fees?
Maybe they think it is a waste of time and that it won't. It's not possible.
There's somebody out there that's making more than $3,000 every 10 minutes, and they're like, nah, that's not worth my time.
We getting there, right money. We getting there, right money.
There's probably someone out there.
Okay.
They would think that.
Well, I'll just tell you, folks, if you're out there today and you're making less than $3,000 per 10 minutes, I would highly recommend that you go to thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card because you can compare rates, you can save money. And, the big goal, in my opinion, of building a business is to create time freedom and financial freedom. And in order to do that, you have to maximize your profits. Holy crap. Now, one way to maximize your profits is to increase your revenue. Another way to do it is to decrease your expenses.
It's a profit deal. It takes the pressure off.
JT, is there any other reason why somebody would not be willing to take 10 minutes to compare rates to see if they could save a total of $3,000 a year on average?
I am at a loss, and I cannot think of any other.
Shampoo is better. I go on first and clean the hair. Conditioner is better. I leave the hair silky and smooth. Oh, really, fool? Really? Stop looking at me, Swan.
Well, let me tell you a good story here real quick here. I actually, years ago, compared rates with this company here called IPS. It's Integrated Payment Services. And I scheduled a consultation. I don't know that I was skeptical. I just thought, whatever, I'll take 10 minutes. I'll compare rates.
I can't tell. You can tell me I'm a doctor. No, I mean, I'm just not sure. But can't you take a guess? Well, not for another 2 hours. You can't take a guess for another 2 hours?
And in my case, in my particular case, I save over $20,000 a year.
Holy crap.
Wow. Which is, like groceries when my wife goes to the organic stores.
Find everything you need today?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Oh, God. No.
Everything okay, ma'am?
It's just that you've only scanned a few items and it's already $60. I'm so scared.
Okay, I'm a trained professional, ma'am. I've scanned a lot of groceries. I need you to stay with me.
It's just that my in-laws are in town and they want a charcuterie board.
Well, this isn't gonna be easy, so I need you to be brave, all right? What's your name?
Patricia.
Patricia, all right. I need you to take a deep breath. We're about to do the cheese.
That's the difference between eating organic and not organic. So because my wife eats organic, I had to take the 10 minutes needed to compare rates to save the $20,000 a year on credit card fees just for one of my companies.
One question, what's the brand name of the clock?
The brand name of the clock, Rod. Do we have it? Brand name of the clock. It's an elegant from Ridgeway. It's from Ridgeway.
Let's
buy the clock
and sell the fireplace.
So I encourage everybody out there, go to thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card. You schedule a free consultation, request information. A member of our team will call you. They'll schedule a free consultation. It should take you 10 minutes or less. And they're going to compare rates and see if they can't save you more than $3,000 a year off of your credit card processing.
You were hoping what?
I wouldn't owe you money at the end of the day.
No, you don't owe us money.
Because at the end of the day, the goal of the business is to create time freedom and financial freedom. In order to do that, you need to create additional profits.
had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminix, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months. Or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. As you can see, it's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood.
This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet. You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you. If we go back 8 years ago, think about the number of clients you had back then versus the number of clients you have now. As a percentage, what has been the growth over the past 8 years, do you think? We got to inspire somebody out there who just doesn't have the time to listen to their calls.
Okay, so Clay, it's like I would go up and down from about $10,000 a month up to about $40,000, but it's up and down roller coaster, and so now we've got it to where we're in excess of 100 clients.
That's awesome.
And so I would have anywhere from 5 clients to 20 clients on my own with networking, but I had no control over it. I didn't. Without the systems, you're going to be victimized by your own business.
For somebody out there who struggles with math, if you, let's say that your average number of clients was 30 and you go to 100, as a percentage, what is that?
I have grown. I have doubled every year since working with you. So I've doubled in clients. I've doubled in revenue every year. It's 100% growth every year I've worked with. Now, so I'm looking. We've been good friends 7-8 years, and I've got doubled 5 times.
Which is just incredible. I mean, the first time you do it, that's one thing, but when you do it repeatedly,
yeah,
I mean, that's unbelievable.
We're working our Blessed Assurance off this year to double. We're planning on doubling again. We're incorporating new some new things in there to really help us do it, but we are going to double again this year. I started coaching, but it would go up and down, Clay. That's when I came to you, as I was going up and down, and I wanted to go up and up instead of up and down. And so that's when it needed a system. So creating a system is you have nailed down specific steps that you're going to take no matter how you feel, no matter the results. You lean into them and you do them regardless of what's happening. You lean into them and it will give you X number of leads. You follow up with those leads, turns into sales. Well, I tell you, it's if you don't have a script and you don't have a system, then every day is a whole new creation. You're creating a lot of energy just to figure out what are you going to do.
Right.
And the best executives, Peter Drucker is a father of modern management. He said the most effective executives make one decision a year. What you do is you make a decision, what is your system, and then you work like the Dickens to make sure you follow that system. And so that's really what it's all about. So with a script here, we have a brand new gal that just came in working for us. She nailed down the script, and she's been nailing down appointments. Usually we try to get one appointment for every 100 calls. We make 200 to 300 calls a day per rep.
Right.
And she's been nailing down 5 and 8 appointments a day.
Somebody out there's having a hard time.
That script.
So she's making how many calls a day?
She's making between 200 and 300 calls a day.
Whoa. And our relationship is weird in that we do. If someone were to buy an Apple computer today, and or let's say you bought a personal computer, a PC, the computer is made by, let's say, Dell, but then the software in the computer would be Microsoft, let's say, or Adobe or whatever that is. So I basically make the systems. And you're like the computer, and I'm like the software. It's kind of how I would describe our relationship. Yeah. Tim, I want to ask you this. You and I reconnected. I think it was in the year 2000 and what was it? Maybe 2010. Is that right? 2011, maybe, or no, maybe further down the road. Maybe 2013.
2012.
Okay, so 2012, and at that time I was 5 years removed from the DJ business, and you were how many years removed from tax and accounting software?
It was about 10, 11 years.
We met, how did we re-meet? What was the first interaction? There was some interaction where you and I first connected. I just remember that somehow you and I went to Hideaway Pizza. But do you remember when we first reconnected?
Yeah. Well, we had that speaking thing that...
there it was. So it was Victory Christian Center. I was speaking there.
My name is Robert Redmond. I actually first met Clay almost 3 years ago to the day. I don't know if he remembers it or not, but I wasn't working with him at the time. I asked to see him and just ask him some questions to help, direct my life, to get some mentorship. But I've been working with Clay for now just over a year. The role I play here is a business coach, business consultant. I work with different businesses, implementing best practice processes and systems that I have learned here by working with Clay. And the experience working here has, to put it real plainly, has been just life-changing. I have not only learned new things and have gained new knowledge, but I have gained a whole new mindset that I believe wherever I end up will serve me well throughout the rest of my life. Since working with Clay, I have learned so much. I mean, I would like to say almost everything about business in terms of the different categories. I haven't learned it all. But I've learned all about marketing. I've learned about advertising. I've learned about branding. I've learned how to create a sales process for organizations in any industry. I've learned how to sell. I've learned how to create repeatable systems and processes and hold people accountable. How to hire people. It's almost like every aspect of a business you can learn. I have learned a lot in those different categories. And then, again, the mindset that I've gained here has been huge. Working here, you can't be a mediocre person. You are a call to a higher standard of excellence, and then as you're called to that standard here, you begin to see those outcomes in every area of your life. That standard of excellence that you want to implement, no matter what you're involved in. I would like to describe the other people that work with Clay are people that are going somewhere with their life. Marshall in the group interview talks about how the best fits for this organization are the people that are goal oriented. So they're on their own trajectory, and we're on our own trajectory. And the best fits are those people where there can be a mutually beneficial relationship, that as we pursue our goals and we help the business pursue those goals, the business helps us pursue our goals as well. And so I'd say people that are driven, people that want to make something of their lives, people that are goal-oriented, they're focused, and they're committed to overcoming any adversity that may come their way. Clay's passion for helping business owners grow their businesses it's unique in that I don't know if there's anyone else that can be as passionate. Whenever a business starts working with Clay, it's almost as like Clay is running that business in the sense that he has something at stake. He's just serving them. They're one of his clients, but it's as if he is actively involved in the business. Whenever they have a win, he's posting it all over his social media. He's shouting it across the room here at Thrive. He's sending people encouraging messages. He can kind of be that life coach and business coach in terms of being that a motivator and that champion for people's businesses. It's again unique because there's no one else I've seen get so excited about and passionate about other people's businesses. The kind of people that wouldn't like working with Clay are people that are satisfied with mediocrity. People that want to get through life by just doing enough, by just getting by. People who are not looking to develop themselves, people who are not coachable, people who think that they know it all and they're unwilling to change. I would say those are the type of people. In short, anyone that's content with mediocrity would not like working with Clay. So if you're meeting Clay for the first time, the advice I'd give you is definitely come ready to take tons of notes. Every time Clay speaks, he it gives you a wealth of knowledge that you don't want to miss. I remember the first time that I met Clay, I literally carried a notebook with me all around. I was looking at this notebook the other day, actually. I carried a notebook with me all around, and I just took tons of notes. I filled the entire notebook in about 3 or 4 months, just from being around Clay, following him, and learning from him. And then I would say, come coachable. Be open to learning something new. Be open to challenging yourself. Be open to learning and adjusting parts about you that need to be adjusted.